How's
Can you
it
hear me?
going? I think so.
Okay.
I'm not
good.
100% sure. I won't know until you keep talking.
Still talking. Still talking.
We could just do the intro.
Let's do the intro.
All right. It took us long enough. I'm
Yep.
Raph,
I'm Justin.
and welcome to the second inaugural episode of Ready
Ready?
Podcast, guys.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
Let's talk. I'm sorry.
Guys.
All right. So what's up?
Not much. I was just gonna ask you what you've been watching.
What have I been watching? Truth be told, not much really. Not more than the usual. Keeping up with the usual. Watching my. Actually, I've been going through my backlog. I don't know if you're familiar with Masaki Yuasa. Well, I know you are because I talk your head off about him all the time.
Of course.
But I was taking the time to go back through over some of his old stuff. Tatami Galaxy, Lulu Over the Wall, Kick Heart, Devilman Crybaby.
Is there any one of those particular you want to touch on?
I kind of just want to say that still, to this day, Tatami Galaxy is just solid gold. It really is.
Of course.
It's not the most, I know, but like it's great because it's not the most exciting, right? It's not the most exciting anime.
It's one of those things where you can tell the kind of person who would enjoy Tatami Galaxy. You know what I mean? It's like a litmus test.
Yeah, bingo, exactly that.
But yeah,
it's definitely it's not something I would say get a bunch of your friends together, grab some beers, sit down, and let's watch some Tatami Galaxy.
That actually does not sound like a bad time. Truth be told,
it doesn't sound like a bad time, but we're weirdos.
The understanding is that your everyman isn't the kind of person who'd look at Tatami Galaxy and go, "This, I vibe with this."
Well, you know what's funny? I agree and I kind of disagree because it is something you can vibe with, but it's something that you have to vibe with on your own internally.
Yes.
I think Tatami Galaxy is definitely a vibe because it speaks to anybody who's ever felt that their life has left them wanting, because that's what it's about. It's about feeling that feeling deep inside of your soul that I would really like that rose-colored campus life. And it doesn't have to be a campus life. It could be the rose-colored anything. It's about anybody who's had expectations.
The rose-colored life in reality.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it's really beautiful because, there's a scene where, he meets up with, an important character and he just sits him down and says, dude, there is no such thing as the rose-colored life. Life is a mix of colors. And you kind of have to sort your way through it. And it's just an awesome scene. But I think the Tatami Galaxy is definitely a vibe, but it's just a personal vibe,
Yeah.
It's different. It's like how Ava is a vibe, but not about, sadness and repressed homosexuality.
I mean, that's a vibe for somebody out there.
That's definitely somebody's vibe for sure. Yeah. So, just looking at the old stuff, I watched the first episode of No Guns Life. Oh God, I don't know if I have it right. Am I thinking of No Game No Life?
No,
the one.
I think we've actually had this exact conversation.
Yeah,
where
Gun Daddy.
We weren't sure if it was No Guns No Life or No Guns Life.
Yeah. Well, needless to say, one, bad title because there's lots of gun, right? Gun face, man.
There's a ton of gun.
Ton of gun. That's
gun.
what they should just call it. They should just call it Ton of Gun, the anime. It's awesome. Yo, it's awesome.
Tell me more about it.
Geez, I mean, like I said, I'm not super deep into it because I just started it, so I got a few episodes to catch up on.
Yeah, well,
but my general, I know.
Yeah.
Like episode 1, half of episode 2, my general understanding of it is that it presents its, if you didn't know any better, I would say it presented itself as a noir story. But in reality, it's definitely just a slice of life that just happens to have a noir filter pulled over it.
I love those.
Which is pretty cool, right? Exactly. It's like the noir stuff is just the trappings, and like all the detective shit, that's just his job, But really, he's just dealing with a world that has cyberized people who still have human problems. So it's very much like Ghost in the Shell in a way, but with a lot less political espionage and intrigue,
Yeah, no, I got you.
Cool, man. He's just cool. He's a cool, the MC is cool, dude. The dude is crazy. Like, I love it. You know.
Now,
And he deals with.
what would you say to somebody who's looking at this poster and going, "That reminds me of Chainsaw Man"?
I'd say that's a very, very good. First of all, if anything reminds you of Chainsaw Man, then you don't need my help with recommendations. You already know what's up. You clearly know what's good. You know?
Yeah.
It's like anybody who says, "Oh, this is kind of like Berserk." You don't need me to tell you what's good. You read Berserk, which kind of leads me into I'm gonna take a quick segue, but like I was on the train the other day, and in ye old New York subway, and you know, there's just all sorts of people there, right? And I'm just sitting down minding my own business, and I was on the E, and not like that makes any difference to anybody, but whatever. On the E train,
might make a difference to somebody.
Right, blue line rep. No, but I'm on the train and I'm sitting down minding my own business. I'm listening to a podcast, and I see like a younger gentleman comes on, and he has an iPad, and he's clearly reading manga on it because, you know, telltale panels, right? And I'm like, whatever, people read manga, it's not a big deal. But you know, your boy is curious, and he gets like, even if it's just to quietly judge someone, I'm like, let me invest a choir. Sits next to me, minding his own business, and I look over, and he's reading fucking Berserk, and I'm like, and it's still at the hype part. It's like it was just. I saw Farnese. That's how I knew. And I saw Serpico, and I'm like, And so it was during
the adventure.
Yeah, right. Not boat story, right? Not boat saga.
Not prequel.
Boatland saga. Right? No, but he was. It was just when they were fighting Mosgus. You know, Super Pope.
Yeah.
And I asked him. I said, "Hey, is that Berserk?" And he said, "Oh yeah, wow, you know Berserk?" And in my head, I'm just like, "Do I know Berserk?" My dude, do you understand? But outside, I was like, yeah, I'm familiar, right?
So you just remind me of a post I just saw from Tumblr, which was screenshotted and put on Twitter, as per the usual. Like, that's just how it is in this day and age. Where someone was like, "Oh yeah, are you familiar with this character?" And the text underneath says, "Vibrates at the frequency of glass," and goes, "Oh yeah, no, I love them the normal amount."
The normal amount. So true.
Oh,
no, but so I was looking at it, and he said like, "Oh yeah, no, I really like this manga. It's so interesting to me. It's really cool." And I wanted to tell him, "Well, you better strap in for when they get on the fucking boat, dog, because that's gonna determine how much you really care."
Yeah,
right?
that's...
If you wish to suffer with the likes of me, right? But I didn't tell him that.
Well, you know what?
I just said.
No, I was gonna say it actually goes back to the litmus test, where it's like it really determines how much you're willing to go through to enjoy something.
Oh, definitely.
Where
and
go ahead.
Yeah, no, and basically, well, no, that's basically the end of it. But basically, I just said, "Oh yeah, it's fantastic. You know, I'm up to date on it. It's really cool. Stay." And I just looked at him. I said, "Stay with it." You know. Because it's a satisfying story, and there's really not much like it.
Did you put your hand on his shoulder and look at him in the eye and go, "Stay with it, son"?
I just gave him just like a fist bump. I was like, I'm just like, "It's good, stay with it, bro." And I just gave him a fist bump, got off, went on my way, and I was just like, I took like, I had to let out a sigh after the train left. I'm like, I almost told him about the boat.
I almost destroyed that young child's dreams.
I almost killed him telling him about the fucking boat, and I just I'm so glad I didn't do it. I was really in my head. I was like, "Oh man, that boat shit's gonna kick you in the ass, and you will hate yourself, and you will hate Miura, and then you'll look up what Miura's doing, and he's gonna be looking at cute girls, and you're gonna hate that. Hey, cats. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Right.
Cats.
And I'm gonna. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to find a cat-free space. You jerk. Sorry. But yeah, no, it was really cool. It was a cool experience.
Yeah.
And I have experiences like that a lot, where people they'll see my T-shirt, or they'll look at my pendant, because I'm always wearing that core drill everywhere I go, and people are always asking me like, "Oh, what's that from?" I'm like, yeah. Half the time I give them the truth, and the other half I give them just like this bullshit answer where it's like, "Oh, it's supposed to represent determination and the willingness to drill on through your problems to the next day."
My parents left it for me when they died in Crime Alley.
Exactly, right? I give them shit like that. Or like, you're like, with each turn you move forward a little. That's how a drill works. And I just hold and I just Simone internally,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
guess
like,
that's fair.
ugh. Yeah, I try my best not to shout that line at them. But I like it's weird. I feel like, and this is gonna, I guess this is gonna sound preachy and old weeby. I don't know. I'm a wee boomer. I don't know.
No,
But like,
we are
I think
firmly in the Gen X and millennial categories.
I know. But as far as weebs go, I guess we're weeb
Boomers a state
boomers.
of
I guess
mind.
boomers is definitely a state of mind. I guess it's just anybody over 25. But
It's also
I'll say this:
subjective.
super subjective. And like, do you really know? Like, really? But essentially I just feel like as people who've been in the culture for a decent amount of time, to have at least formed opinions, I feel like we're kind of responsible to be ambassadors, not necessarily of the genres or not necessarily of like a particular shows, just like we're ambassadors of our own taste, which I guess is everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
And no one has to agree to your taste, no one has to have your taste, that's fine. But I think you need to be able and be responsible enough to explain why you like something, have formed an opinion on something, and then if somebody vibes with it, cool. If somebody doesn't, then that's all right. But I think the onus is on the person. The onus is on you to really just explain to people why you think something is good, and explain to them that if they're into that, then maybe they could look into it, because you never know what people have or haven't seen. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I really like doing that. I like giving recommendations. It's super cool. Like when people do recognize that I'm like, the other day I was in Trader Joe's. I've just got anecdotes for days.
It's fine.
The
You're
other day
allowed.
I was in Trader Joe's and I was wearing my I don't know if it's a Nichijou shirt or if it's a Steins Gate shirt. I guess it's both, because it's
Oh,
like it just has,
right, that shirt.
you've seen it, the one that says science in bold text on the bottom, and then there's like a mushroom cloud in the middle, and then on the left it's Okabe, and then on the right it's a Hakase from Nichijou, right? And somebody was like, "Oh, I know those characters," and I was like, "Yeah, that's Okabe Rentaro. He's mad scientist. He's super cool, son of a bitch, right?" Right? And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Don't worry."
Don't worry about
And
it.
I gotta stop calling people sons of bitches. Yeah, but
Yeah, probably for the best.
yeah, probably for the best. But English, right? It rules. Yeah, no, and like when people recognize it, that they always come to ask me, "Oh, well, you're into animes," and I'm like, "Yeah, I watch the animes,"
You
and they're
just
like, "Oh, what do you recommend?" I'm like, honestly, just watch what you like. I could tell you what I like, and then
yeah.
I ask them what they've seen, and then I try to get a feel for it, and then from there, the art of Rex,
Yeah.
right? Which
I've
is
gotten
something I
to
know
that
you
point
do.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, which is something I know you do way better than I do.
My
You
friend,
can
that
sell,
too is subjective.
yeah, but you can sell anime water to an anime fish, bro. Like, it's just different with you. Like, your pictures are so cool.
Thank
You
you.
should have like no problem. You should.
Have a
I mean,
podcast where we do that kind of thing.
I know, right? $1 million idea, right? But yeah, no, that's just kind of been my week. Still plugging through Persona, almost done, waiting for Persona R. You know how it go.
Yeah.
You play the game and then you play the proper version of the game after they release it like 2 years later.
Okay. Yeah.
And still playing that Guilty Gear. Mm.
Oh man.
And on the topic of Guilty Gear, really quick,
Yeah,
have
sure.
you heard Bullshit Blazing?
Have I heard? Have I heard smell of the game? He
Yes,
asks me.
quite. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, Daisuke. Oh my god.
Right. So
Like,
for those who
people
aren't
talk
in the
about-
know, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
live under a rock, I suppose that's not fair. But
I don't know. I feel like Guilty Gear's a rock in space.
I feel like
Right.
Guilty Gear at this point has cemented itself into the space of 2D fighters that people should know. You know what I mean? Where it used to be like, oh yeah, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like the third one is probably Smash, and the fourth one is probably Guilty Gear. Well,
the
no,
four Heavenly
Tekken,
Kings.
Tekken, then
No,
Guilty
I guess.
Gear.
I guess Tekken is one of the Heavenly Kings too. All right.
Well, I mean, it definitely is. It's definitely higher than Guilty Gear on that front.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But Guilty Gear is either slowly rocketing up there, and I say slowly rocketing because it only really started with Ixard.
Really, yeah. You can't really roll up to somebody and be like, "Yo, how you feel about accent core plus R?" It's like,
Double
what?
X accent core plus I.
Right? How you feel about double X reload midnight? I'm like,
How do you feel about Guilty Gear 2? Bad. Anyway.
bad. Right? Just go away.
Oh man.
Overture,
But
man.
yes,
No.
so there was a new Guilty Gear game announced to launch in 2020, which people were calling Guilty Gear 2020 until we learned the name last week, and it's Guilty
Yep.
Gear
Guilty
Strive,
Gear Strive.
also known as Guilty Gear 4 because Strive has an I and a V in it.
Love them Roman numerals.
Yep. About 6 or 7 characters confirmed, I think, at current. It's Kai, Sol. I'm going off of memory, so bear with me. Kai, Sol, May, Faust, Potemkin, and Axel. I think that's it right now. Oh, and Chip.
Yeah.
I always forget about Chip. It's like he's not
How
even
can you
there.
how can you forget about the president?
It's like he's not even there.
It's like he's a ninja. Yeah, I know. It's great. I hope they bring back Answer.
Yeah, that's actually, speaking of, I recently went to the lab with Answer. Because I was like, I still don't know how to play this character, like, at all. So I'm very and I learned. Oh my god.
Good, we're gonna get some matches in.
Oh my god, he's so interesting. The way I play I play Answer is very bad. I do not play Answer well. The way I play Answer is I run down the clock.
Okay. Ninja shit.
Yeah, but I run down the clock, and like, it's not like I'm playing keep away with you, but I am actively using techniques to not be in the same space as you.
I mean, hey man, I thought you'd be really good with ninja characters though. I've seen you play Valentine.
I'm good with Chip, and I'm good with Valentine, and that's about it.
Hey man, ninjas be ninja.
Answer is very different from Chip. He's closer to a combination of Bang.
Yeah, I was about to say there's some Bang in there with them scrolls.
Who has teleports in Skullgirls besides Peacock? Nobody. Peacock.
Okay, sure.
It's basically that. It's a combination of those two kinds of styles, where your punches and your kicks are your big things, and your ninja stuff is relegated to slash and heavy slash. And your ninja stuff does one of two things. You either make a card or you make a banner. And if you make a banner and jump into the banner, you can either use it to teleport to another banner or do an attack from some direction, depending on which button that you actually press once you're on the banner. With the cards, you can teleport to the cards. So the thing that you're supposed to do as an Answer player is put a bunch of things in one place, put a bunch of cards on one side or the other side, and then just trick your opponent into not remembering that there's banners on one side of the screen so that you can hit them from off screen.
That's how the ninja do.
Even though you're supposed to be on screen.
No, I've only got a chance to mess around first dropped. And the card play shit is it's hilarious, honestly.
Yeah.
It's the whole idea of like, oh, zoning. And they're like, whatever, man, that didn't hit me. And then they run, I know, because it stays. And then they run past, and it's like, all right, teleport time.
Yeah, it's weird, because it's zoning, but it's also not zoning.
Of course not, because who cares if they take a damage? But it's that if you take the hit, that's technically a hit confirm. And if you can tally quickly enough, it's like, well, let's just go in for like 2 seconds.
Oh my god, I can't believe Answer has Johnny Tech.
He does have Johnny Tech. It's nuts.
Oh, you just reminded me of a tier list I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the I hate Johnny tier list. I don't hate
Omito
Johnny,
did that.
But yeah.
Omito did that. He's my sensei from far away. I've been looking at his stuff for ages. He actually took I think he took top 8 in this year and last year's Evo.
That's fantastic.
I think he won Arc Revo like twice. And Omito is oh my god. First of all, his air game is nutballs. It's insane how he uses that stupid. All right, so Johnny has this move where basically you do a dragon punch input and he does this flip. And if you repeat the input on the flip, right, then he will throw down this column of fire, right?
Yes.
And the thing about it is there's mind games with it because you don't know if Johnny's going in for the flip, if he's going to drop the fire, or if he's just trying to reposition himself. And off of that reposition, you can either just land just the air kick, which is just brilliant, hit confirmed, because after that you can just drop I don't know, I'm trying to do this in a way that isn't filled with jargon, but
yeah,
basically, you do his mist finder, that EI slash,
yeah,
and you can do the down angle EI slash, and then you can quick drop, and then you can start a new combo. And this dude just lives in the air, man. And his Johnny game is crazy, and I do my best to like emulate his style. But he's some kind of death beast, and I'm just a baby beast, So
I understand that.
it's, but yeah, no, Omito is the reason that Johnny gets all of that play, because Johnny shit is just crazy. I think Johnny's one of the best examples of a fighting game character with a simple moveset that has a lot of variability. It's like if Ibuki were good.
Oh man, you can't say that.
Shout out! I hated the Ibuki players. No, I'm kidding. Ibuki's great. I was never good at her, but it's like that. There's variability in the moves.
Yeah, it's
really
like taking a bread and butter idea and then expanding it into an entire character set, which is something that Guilty Gear does very well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited to see where Guilty Gear Strive takes it. Because I know that the way that they have confirmed to have been building characters, Daisuke Shitowari has been saying, is they've basically stripped everything down and they're kind of doing it over.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see where that puts characters like Faust.
Well, he is confirmed,
yeah,
by the way.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I know. The thing about Faust, for those who don't play Guilty Gear and do not know, Faust is very much the kind of character who gains control from not being near the fight and simply throwing things at the fight. But the way that Faust does it is so random.
And remember, he also has movement options.
Yes, he has a lot of... Well, he's very, very tall, and he's got a lot of air
teleport.
movement.
Yeah, and the door teleport.
Yes,
man.
and the blanket teleport.
Okay.
But yes, so it's so random that I would struggle to say that even a Faust player has a very difficult time. Like, they certainly know exactly what each thing does, because they've spent enough time in the lab with Faust to know what each individual thing that comes out of his kit does. But they're not prepared for every eventuality of, hey, what if I do this thing and use this particular move? What happens when this happens, right? So, that's why you see when people like me or some of our other friends who play Faust, we tend to stick to absolutes.
Yeah, you don't want to keep throwing out random stuff from your bag, and it's like, cool, chocolate, donut, bomb.
Yeah.
My opponent got all of these chocolates, and I blew myself up.
So you do a bunch of hits, you do the fishing rod, you teleport away, and then you concho from behind them, and that's just what you do.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to see characters like Faust, characters like Venom, who kind of do one thing. And they do that one thing really well. And how they'll be restructured into a game like this, because it would be really weird to have a Guilty Gear game without Slayer, Venom, and Zato 1.
They'll never take out Slayer.
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of?
What are you talking about?
It reminds me of in the previous game to Ixer, the Double Accent Court series. Slayer's story campaign was he was trying to find someone that could beat him in a fight to kill him so that he could die, so that he didn't have to deal with any of this. He was literally in the headspace of, this is so boring, I just want to go to space. And then I think in the very last fight he goes, nah, I'll just wait. Something interesting should happen in the next, 100 years or so. And then he gets beat by Bedman. So that was fun.
That's a thing.
And then he gets really mad.
Guilty Gear lore.
He gets very salty.
Guilty Gear lore.
Let's not. Let's just move on.
Oh, don't you want to know about Venom's Bakery?
I feel like that's a conversation for another day.
Don't you want to know about King Daryl and his quest for the ultimate pudding?
Don't you want to know about Jam's never-ending quest for a place to put her restaurant?
Thank you. Her food cures disease, bro. When's the last time you had a bowl of rice infused with chi? Like, Kuma's like, what did you do to this food? I say, well, I just cooked it how I normally do. He's like, bitch, you know you putting chi in this food?
That's crazy. This food is literally a healing. This food is literally Hero's Feast from Dungeons and Dragons.
It's like, nobody taught you how to do this. She's like, nah, man, cooking the rice. I'm like, oh, man.
Jam feels like a Dungeons and Dragons character.
I know. Ugh. Definitely. More so than most. But yeah, no, that's just been my week, really. You know,
okay.
GG and, you know, GG, P5, you know.
Fair enough.
The huge.
I have a few things that we could bring up.
Okay.
Based on conversations from last week and just things that I've been doing in general. So I finished Daredevil Season 3.
Do tell.
On your request to actually finish the show.
Yes, finally. Knock that off the backlog, bro.
Yeah, so...
feels good.
I guess for this structure of the conversation, spoilers for, what is it, a year or 2 years old now? Or so?
2017, I believe, so...
Yeah, so 2 years old for Daredevil Season 3. If you don't want to hear me go into detail on it and just want to hear my opinion, it's so-so. There's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of things in the back half of Daredevil Season 3 that make it interesting, but the front half is very slow, so if you are interested in taking a look at it, pace yourself. Make sure that you know why you're there. Again, it's to go back to what we were talking about initially. It's one of those seasons of a show that kind of has a litmus test and goes, all right, where do you measure up? What are you willing to sit down to watch before the cards all fall on the table? Okay, so that being said, the next maybe 10 or so minutes is going to just be me talking about Daredevil Season 3. So, I hated the first 6 episodes.
It stings. And the episodes stink.
Yeah, and I hate the first 6 episodes not because they're slow. They are slow. That's not why I don't like them. Because I've watched a bunch of slow things. I love slow things. I'm pretty sure Steins Gate takes like 9 episodes to actually start up. Endless 8 exists, and I've watched it.
Nah, man. That shit had me going.
No, I love it.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's great. But the problem that I
loved Endless 8. Unpopular opinion. I loved Endless 8.
Yeah, it's good. The problem with the first 6 or so episodes of Daredevil Season 3 is that it is, I don't want to say telegraphed, because telegraphed is, well, it's TV. Everything is going to be telegraphed at some level. But I feel like it's kind of pathetic how telegraphed it is, if that makes any sense.
You sure you're not speaking from the point of view of someone who is genre savvy? Because...
No. Actually, no. Because it kind of feels like you're watching dominoes be set up, and characters are kind of just seeing where the domino is, like queuing up their fingers at the domino, and carefully walking around it so that they don't have to kick it until the time comes. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Like, there are scenarios within Daredevil Season 3 specifically that could have easily fallen in a bunch of different ways. Some earlier, some later, based on complete happenstance. Like, a lot of the very beginning of Season 1, of Season 3, rather, where Ray is meeting up with Wilson Fisk for the first time and going, oh, I could do something good with this, right? That the idea of he wants to take a really horrible person and he's willing to make the deal with the devil so that he could get all of these other people incarcerated, which is noble.
Of course, but every Faustian bargain ends the same way.
Also,
Unless your name is John Constantine.
It's very clearly going to blow up in his face, but that's not the issue. The issue that I have is how long it takes him to come to that conclusion based on the fact that he's even meeting with Wilson Fisk in the first place.
Facts.
Because it's one of those things where if you go into a season... Like, I don't remember when Punisher shows up in Season 2, but it's very clear that there's no real villain in Season 2 until Punisher shows up. Right?
Well, I mean, Daredevil Season 2 is simply Punisher Season 0.
Yes,
so.
no, well, it's Punisher Season 1, buddy.
Yeah.
That's the Punisher show.
Let's be real.
Yes, so the thing that I'm getting at is he meets up with Wilson Fisk. It's like, this guy's dangerous. Leaves. Comes back. So, Wilson Fisk, are you willing to cooperate? Yes, but I have terms. Well, first I need to talk to my boss. Leaves. Talks to boss. I don't think this is a good idea. It's a good idea. I still don't think this is a good idea. You know what? Maybe it's a good idea. Hey, Wilson, do you still think this is a good idea? Yes, I've always thought this was a good idea. Okay, let's move you out of prison, Wilson Fisk. But you see how long... Yeah, you see how long and drawn out that is? Like, it feels...
Yeah. It's like if you were going to do it anyway, it's like shit or get off the pot, you know? Because...
It could have been simplified into the following scenes. It could have been simplified to... And the important thing from this scene is Ray only basically bites the bullet on this because his wife's sister's healthcare has been dropped. And they don't have enough money to support their whole family and her, and it really falls upon them to help her.
Do you remember why that happened?
Oh, I'm aware. I'm going to get to it.
Yeah, big reveal. I love it.
You know, it's funny, because I feel like that reveal would have been good if it happened immediately, and he just didn't know. Because that would be good. Because then you, like... And hold on, I'll get to that. So the easy way to rectify this idea and this scene is to simply have that happen, where it's like, oh, yeah, well, seems I can't pay for your sister's healthcare. I would need to do this, that, and the other thing. Well, I really hope a good opportunity comes on your lap. And then his boss tells him, hey, a good opportunity's come on your lap. Wilson Fisk says he's willing to talk. Then he has that moral quandary in his head while he goes to visit Wilson Fisk for the first time. And then he goes, yeah, you know what? We're going to do it.
Brilliant move. Really.
Saves you so much time. It feels so padded. And then when Ray leaves and Wilson Fisk is meeting with his lawyers, it's like, oh, well, how did that go? Good. We suppressed his sister's his wife's sister's healthcare, so he should just be around within the coming days, even if he doesn't necessarily take the bait, right? Because then you go, oh, this was his plan. And then
which really
it still hits like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, of course.
It keeps you invested in that dynamic because it makes you go, is he going to find out that he's on the take? As opposed to trying to trick you into thinking that Wilson Fisk is not going to one-up every single person in the room. As if he hadn't.
This is what this man does. Yeah. This is how he got to this point. This is what he does for breakfast.
That's why I don't think he needs the preamble in season 3 specifically, because he had all that preamble in season 1, right? This is something that, fundamentally speaking, I think the reason that we don't see repeat villains in superhero movies is because writers don't know how to make them threatening in a way that isn't, haha, I learned from my lesson and it's not going to work a second time. Because the thing that comic books do is, instead of going, this thing that you did will not work because I have the anti-thing thing, is, hey, so this is what they did last time. What if I present myself in a position that makes it so they can't do that thing? As opposed to, I am immediately, like, I'm not going to make the same mistake. It's not about making the same mistake. It's about presenting yourself in a situation where that mistake cannot be made. Which is a subtle difference. And that is something that Wilson Fisk does in season 3. But the problem with the way that it's written is that it's written in a way that the writers don't think that the audience is capable of understanding that Wilson Fisk has been capable of doing these things since season 1. If that makes any sense.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And I think that brings up an interesting comment about how comic book writers handle repeat villains not falling for the same trap. I think sometimes, and I know there are better examples, but one of the examples that really stands out to me is, like, for example, the Rogues for the Flash, right? Oh, wait, hold on 1 second. Sorry.
Sure thing. So, yeah, what I was saying in that regard, just to wax up a little bit more, is that the characters for Daredevil season 3...
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
I was just going into the other characters of Daredevil season 3 and how their interaction with Wilson Fisk also doesn't help the fact that it's super obvious. You know what's funny? And this kind of goes to show how I think of this season. Foggy did a lot of work in season 3.
He did the lawyer's work. But
And-
just to finish up my first point
go
real
ahead.
quick. Sorry about that. What I was basically saying was that when you take a villain and they realize that the things that they've done hasn't worked for them in the past, I think one of the best, like, at least in my recent memory, in my experience, one of the best examples of it has been the Rogues for the Flash, because in the comics, the Rogues know that they are outclassed by the Flash. That much is certain. That point is moot. They deal with it. They understand it. But crime's got a crime, right? And I think one of the best examples is with Captain Cold, or I guess Citizen Cold, I guess during the Citizen Cold arc, is that Snart understands that there's only so much that he can do. And he understands that there are things that the Flash does that can put him at a disadvantage. And he's like, the only real thing that can really help me is if I get assistance from people who are more powerful than I am. Or if I can put myself in a situation where I'm not technically at odds with the law, then why would the Flash bother with me? And his whole thing where he turns to the side of good, so to speak, or where he finds creative and interesting ways, not to go on about the topic, but he finds creative and interesting ways to kind of manipulate the system to his needs, and then just kind of do his dirt so on the low that really and truly, like, Barry cannot. He's never going to find out unless he outs himself. And Snart's a smart guy, right? And that works. And that's how he can continue to be a threat. That's how he can continue to be a problem. It's like the cold gun is still the same cold gun, and that's not always going to work that's not always going to work against the Flash. And the Flash knows he can just run up and bop, deal with the problem. But it's harder to bop when Snart has Amanda Waller behind him, you know, putting the reins down. And it's things like that really work to make a villain remain fresh. It's like you have to find ways around the same old bullshit that you got caught with before.
Yes.
And one of the best ways is simply just make better friends. And in the case of Wilson Fisk, he has all the best friends.
Yep. That's actually one of the things I was going to talk about is the idea of the other characters dealing with Wilson Fisk, and how I guess it's sort of kind of the central theme of the season, really, of Matt trying to do literally anything by himself and then remembering that he can't because he's Matt Murdock.
Boy, oh boy, does that boy have problems.
Boy, oh boy, do I not like Matt Murdock. And that's saying something.
Gracious. Oh my God.
I've gone on record on saying this to pretty much anybody who will listen. I think that the Netflix version of Matthew Murdock is the best version of Matt Murdock, and that's not saying very much. I feel like Matthew Murdock's sanctimonious attitude towards being a hero is hypocritical at best and defeatist at worst. He doesn't really do anything interesting that other heroes in the same situations can't do. Most namely characters like Hellcat, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, like literally anybody else that's city level. I find them infinitely more interesting because their life is more interesting and their ethos is more interesting. And when they end up dealing with a character like Wilson Fisk, it usually ends up being either A, I can't do this by myself and Wilson Fisk is completely untouchable. I need to find some way of knocking him down a peg before I actually try to do anything, or it's just straight up a team effort.
Honestly, Foggy and Karen did more damage to Fisk than Matt ever did with his fists alone.
Yes, and while I think I would have enjoyed that in season 1, I don't enjoy it in season 3. And I'm not really sure why yet. I liked Foggy because the way that they made Foggy work in this season was he basically came up with a plan that he knew Wilson Fisk's lawyers couldn't see coming. Because nobody could see it coming, because it involved him making a bunch of stupid choices, which is hilarious because it's like the idea of Foggy weaponizing his own stupid choices, which makes him a powerful character, because in seasons 1 and 2 it kind of felt like Foggy was fudge fingering everything.
Of course. Which is weird because he's so smart, he's capable.
Yes. And then for some reason I enjoyed Karen's arc, but it feels like they took the normal Foggy arc and just gave it to Karen instead. Where it's like Karen does, to quote a creepypasta game called The Uncle Who Works for Nintendo.
Oh my god. Is that a creepypasta or just a look into my past?
It's
everyone's past?
It's a really, really good creepypasta that I'll tell you about later. But essentially it's talk to all the right people, make all the right moves, and then make the stupidest decision you can make. Which is, in that game, the prerequisite for an ending. Where it's do everything right, then do the absolute most wrong thing you can. And that's literally the entirety of Karen's arc. They had a great idea. They had a fantastic idea, and it would have worked. But the reason it didn't work is because they were dumb enough to think that they could do it in a normal building. With
my god.
Normal people thinking that Wilson Fisk wouldn't just hire someone, anyone, didn't have to be who they hired, to walk in and kill them. Like, it literally could have been anybody. It didn't have to be the other antagonist for the season.
Could have been Joe Schmo Gun Guy.
Yeah, it could have been Joe Chill.
It could have been Joe Chill. You never know. Cross-universe Joe Chill.
This exact problem repeats itself literally 2 episodes later when Ray appears in front of a grand jury. The mistake that they made was even so much as getting a single person involved without, like... Basically, it should have been done in a way that was so random that nobody knew who was going to be on the jury panel, or literally having it in the basement.
Seriously,
you know what I mean? Like it feels like it was Kingpin Ex Machina. He's gotten to the jury, which is really weird because he did that in season 1.
Also, that happens in real life.
Yeah,
he's a super gangster.
It's like the oldest trick in the book. It's like his numero uno play. It's I draw for turn, play a land, and tap it to play Soul Ring. It's
for real. It's the expected move that puts you ahead.
Why not just do this in some basement somewhere that isn't necessarily in a grand jury hall? Call the judge, tell him to show up at a certain place at a certain time, call 12 people who have no bearing on the case to have them show up at a certain place at a certain time. Make sure that your phones aren't tapped.
Granted, there is one thing though. I mean, like, they only have so much control over a situation like that, and we're not well versed enough in the law to really understand grand jury proceedings. And I feel like because a grand jury is always, a group of peers, randos, basically randos. Yeah. Like, the chances of randos having family and addresses that could be looked up, it's just
very, very easy.
Very high. So it's like there's nothing you can really do to stop like juries from being vulnerable.
Oh no, for sure. The only real thing that I will give kudos to on that front of why didn't they just do this extremely secretive black box process if they know they're dealing with Wilson Fisk is very quite simply they didn't have the time.
Which is weird because you think the biggest crime lord
is worth the time.
New York City is worth all of that. Because, like, there's no way that they haven't tried to indict Wilson Fisk, right?
They have before. It's the reason he was in jail in the first place.
Exactly. So it's like,
they've been
you
down
know
this
what
road
this man
before.
is capable of. Why would you be so sloppy?
Yeah.
You know?
Like this would never happen in a comic book version of that universe ever.
No.
Like that would strictly only happen in the Netflix universe, and it
Mm.
feels particularly contrived simply because literally every single person in that room, down to the DA included, has played to this room before.
Mm.
They know what they're dealing with. This was a rookie mistake, essentially.
It was. Granted, though, I feel like rookie mistakes too for these kind of cheap thrills are kind of part and parcel of what they're, at least what I felt they were trying to deliver with the whole Netflix Marvel universe. Simply because it's funny that we make these comparisons to the comics all the time,
Oh, yeah.
but in
I
reality,
get what
we
you
have
mean.
no business. Yeah, we have no business comparing it to the comics because that's not what Netflix is trying to sell us with these
Yeah.
Marvel shows, right?
No, in
They're
the
really
comics
trying
they're
to,
flawless. That's not.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're trying to see this. This is shit that you would see on TNT, you know,
Actually,
right?
I feel like in order for that to sell me more, then I would want Matt to be more angry about it not working. And also having expressed the idea that it might not work specifically for that reason.
The fact that he wouldn't expect this, that he wasn't super paranoid about
Yeah.
this going bad, makes no sense.
Yeah.
Since he's paranoid about literally everything else.
Because then that
So much
sells
to the
the
point that he would,
rookie mistake,
he,
right?
yeah, because he was damaging his own interpersonal relations. He's like, I gotta tell my friends that I hate them and they smell so that Wilson Fisk won't get to them. First of all, bro, they
That
already know. He already knows who your
work.
friends are. It's never going to work. That's you can't undo it. He's like, well, I unfriended them, so now Wilson Fisk won't threaten them. That's fucking bullcrap.
I mean, it didn't work in the movie Unfriended, so it won't work for Wilson Fisk.
Thank you. Wilson Fisk is genre savvy.
Oh, man.
No, but it's like he knows he's aware of Wilson Fisk's reach. He knows that this man has agency beyond anything he could begin to even comprehend. And to think that a simple grand jury trial would be enough to boom, nab him, we did it, yeah, justice.
I kind of wish it did.
It just reeks of naivete. I don't know.
Actually, you know what? For my final bullet point on this, I feel like that was the feeling I had during the entirety of my watching Daredevil season 3. I was kind of just like, can we get this over with? Not the show, but specifically the idea of nabbing Wilson Fisk, because you knew that once that happened, every other problem that was currently going on would stop.
Well, it's like you see the shoe in the air going towards the ground already. You're not really. It's like you are waiting for the shoe to drop, but you're not surprised by it.
Yeah.
It's just taking a really long time to hit the ground.
For me, it's more of, I'm like, why is that shoe taking so long to drop? Why can't I just take my hand and push it against the shoe?
The shoe is taking an absurdly long time to hit the ground. It's a world, dude. But it's like, I feel like it is though.
I just feel like that's actually something Dio would do.
Yeah,
he would just drop a shoe on someone's head with Zawada.
Just wait. Tokyo Tomorek.
Yeah.
No, but really though, it's like I think that the Netflix Marvel miniverse, streamverse, bingeverse, whatever we're going to call it,
the thing that we would have called it had it continued.
That we would have called it had it not been Disney Plus into a whole another universe.
Yep.
Is that I know what they wanted to go for, right? With the whole Defenders, with Jessica Jones, with Luke Cage. I thought it was a brilliant idea at inception. But there is a point where you have to realize that if you're trying to create a connected universe, and you try to create a connected universe that has maybe not a unifying theme, because I feel like all of the shows had different themes, but if you're trying to make a connected universe where people have to act like people, right? But you also have to make a show that seems like a show, right? That somewhere along the line, reality and sense and logic has to take a backseat to incredulity, and it's really annoying to me because you as anyone who's ever watched Law and Order even knows that it's never that cut and dry. There's still 15 minutes left in the episode. You know that shit's not gonna be easy.
Yeah, no,
right?
At least give me some dressing.
Thank you. Right? It's
roughage is a little too hard to swallow.
It's just too hard to swallow, and it's like I wanted more from it, but quite frankly, it's it's kind of like towing. I know it's not an episodic type of series. I know that we're following a continuing story, which is great and all of that, and then you have to find a way to tie them together, which is why I thought the Defenders was going to be cool, but it just became like Matt Murdock's Discount Avengers and not its own group. And I felt like the Defenders was probably the weakest of the shows that they did there.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just,
or as I call it, the one good season of Iron Fist.
The one good season of True that, bro. I don't know what they did. Poor Danny.
Yeah. No, I was
all the Wu-Tang in the world couldn't save that
good.
series. I know. All the Wu-Tang in the world couldn't save that.
That was it. But yeah, so I'll put a pin in Daredevil. The other thing I've been watching, somewhat ironically, is I found out that the entirety of Saint Seiya is actually on Netflix.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've been watching it from the beginning because I don't think I've ever actually finished the anime.
I can see Los Caballeros del Zodiaco.
Yeah, you can. You super can. And that anime has very interesting pacing.
I told you, right? Did I tell you it's beast? It's
well,
beast.
I know. I've read. Yeah. I think I had read up to the Silvercloth arc.
So did you get to Hades chapter yet? I believe Hades chapter is after that.
I think it's right after that. And the manga where I was reading it, unfortunately, didn't go past that point.
So he didn't get his Sagittarius armor yet, did he?
No, Seiya? But I mean, I've played Jump Ultimate Stars. I know he gets the Sagittarius armor.
Oh man, yeah, man, the gold. Ares. Oh my God, Ares. The Gold Saints. Oh my God, Ares is my boy, man.
I know the Gold Saints are really strong.
Yeah, buddy. Oh man.
But no, the thing I wanted to say was the anime in comparison to the manga as I was reading it. And I feel like I come up with this a lot when I find something that I'm watching that I have previously read. The pacing is so different. And the anime is actually kind of, or at least the order of events is slightly different. So, in the manga, you meet Seiya before he goes to Greece.
Yeah.
And you immediately know that he hates Athena. Just like straight up. Like it's the funniest thing in the world because he is just no-selling this entire show from the jump, where he's just like, nope, I refuse to have anything to do with you. Like before he even gets the armor, he's like, no, give me my sister. No, you're gonna go get the armor first. All right, if I get the armor, will you bring me my sister? Sure. All right, I'll go get you the armor. Hold tight. Little does he know, I know nothing about it. Where's my sister? Ah!
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I've never read the manga.
Yeah,
I'm only familiar with the anime in Spanish. So, I mean, I guess it would be cool to watch it again.
Yeah.
And be like, okay.
Also, it kind of has Devilman dub energy.
Do tell.
Like,
wait, which Devilman dub?
You know which one.
Okay.
Akira!
I'm Devilman!
Devilman! But no, what was I saying? Right, so it kind of has that energy of, what's his name? The sickness guy. I think it's, I want to say Ray, but I know it's not Ray, because Ray is the guy from Fist of the North Star.
Don't worry, I don't,
but yes, the
Hyoga.
Yeah, Hyoga.
Yeah.
When he swims into the ship that has his perfectly preserved in ice mother sunken into a boat, he just looks at her and goes, "Mother," followed by several seconds of awkward silence.
Yeah, man.
It's great. It's so good.
Campy. It's campy, right?
It's very, like, I can feel the energy. I can feel the vibe, and I'm looking forward to finishing that.
I love it. I love Saint Seiya, bro. I love it.
Speaking of things I need to finish, I haven't watched it this week, but I feel like I should put it in the ether so that way I could actually finish it. I'm about maybe 7 or 8 episodes into Cannon Busters.
Are you now?
Yeah. I've been watching it very slowly.
Bro, I kickstarted that shit, man.
Great. It's good.
I was so happy to see that shit on Netflix. I'm like, people can see this.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Finally.
I would say, right? And I would say maybe Under the Dog will end up on that. Like, Under the Dog. Actually, it was bad.
Under the Dog was very bad. I've seen it.
It was bad.
We watched it for my birthday.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. That Little Witch Academia, this was not.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I'll proudly show people my Little Witch Academia art. I'll be like, yeah, I'm furthering the cause, you know. But fucking UTD was bad.
No, it's not great. But Cannon Busters
Convoluted.
is it's my kind of thing. It is specifically what I watch anime to like.
Do tell.
I've always been a proponent of the adventure story of group of characters go from point A to point B, and things 1 through 57 happen on the way. It's why I like One Piece. It's why I like Ninku. It's why I like Marygrave. It's why I like Cannon Busters. It's why I like a lot of things. I like Black Lagoon for similar reasons, in fact, because even though they stay in Roam Kapoor pretty much the entire time, there's always something different happening.
I mean, criminal Puerto Vallarta, like come to our beautiful criminal shores, have a criminal colada with balalaika, right?
But yeah, no. So Cannon Buster does it in a way where I'm interested in all the characters separately enough that even if they aren't like cohesively working together well as a group, which is mostly Philly's fault, frankly, I can still find enough interest in each individual part of the salad to enjoy the salad.
Can I just say, Philly is such a tsundere?
Yeah, no, I know.
He is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the point, right? He doesn't really get a reason to join up, quote unquote. I'm making heavy quotes with my hands, which no one can see. But Philly doesn't actually get a reason to join the group until later into the series, even though he's with them from episode 1, which is fun because it kind of reminds me of the idea of a character like it's weird because everybody just goes Luffy, Zoro, Nami, but Nami is technically the 5th person to join the crew, not the 3rd.
Wait, who's before Nami?
Usopp.
Oh yeah,
Sanji. Both of them.
Oh yeah, but she
Because-
was hanging around.
Yeah, she was just around. She wasn't actually on the crew yet. I mean, a lot of people...
It's kind of like how I felt about Jinbei.
Yeah. I mean, look.
I'm like, he's on the crew, but
Look.
man.
Look. Until
Just
he
give me
starts showing up in official artwork.
Just give me Jinbei, please.
Until he starts showing up in official artwork next to Straw Hats, he's not on the crew.
Oh, come on, man.
I will die on this hill.
Kenpo. Fishman Kenpo.
Well, look, I want him there. He's not there yet.
Oh my
He's
god.
not there yet. It would be like, imagine if Luffy walked up to Brook, the very large 7-foot tall skeleton man, for those of us who don't watch or read One Piece, and went, hey, join my crew. And he went, nah, maybe later. And everyone was like, ooh, I can't wait for Brook to join the crew. And then he joins it 3 arcs later. That's kind of like what happens with Philly the Kid. Where
Facts.
it's like, all right, you're going to drive us around, but you have no real reason to actually do that. And then something happens where he goes, now I actually have a reason to do that, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
I really like
And I go,
Busters.
ooh.
I like Cannon Busters.
I like Takeshi 6ix9ine. Sorry, did I say Takeshi 6ix9ine? I meant 99999. 7 Evan.
Oh my god.
I do like how they're all named after numbers.
It's great,
I
right?
sure hope 7 Evan isn't dead, because that would be a wasted opportunity to make a reference to a really over-the-top movie.
What, you 7 with Christopher Walken?
Yes. 7 Evan. It's not 7. It's 7 Evan.
Absolutely.
There's a 7
Right.
in the middle of that 7. Or is it Sev 7 Evan? Or is it Sev 7? I don't remember exactly where the 7 is in 7.
Or 6 lack. Not black, just 6 lack.
No, that's black.
No, it's 6 lack.
No, I know.
Don't be ridiculous. It's 6 lack. Black starts with a B.
All right,
Don't
I
be
need to
upset.
look at the actual thing for this movie for Seven, because there sure is also a movie that's just called Seven, without the
Are we
seven in the middle.
are we thinking of Lucky Number 11? Because that was another one. Is Christopher Walken in that?
No, Lucky Number Slevin is called that because there's a character named Slevin.
Yeah, I remember that. But was
But
Chris
there
Walken
is
in
a
that?
movie called Seven. Yes, it's Sevenin. Seven.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh, good. Great. I love that. I love when you.
where there's
I
a
love when
seven
you
in
do
the
that.
middle of it.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, it's got Brad Pitt and Kevin Spacey in it.
Like I hate to throw the number in because it sounds like no.
I only like throw the number in when it's phonetically appropriate,
Mm.
like threef.
No.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm cool with threef.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no. So I've been watching Cannon Busters. I've been watching Knights of the Zodiac. I haven't really been watching very much anime. I will probably get back into that pretty soon.
Ooh. Have you
up?
been watch? Have you seen Fate Babylonia
No.
chapter whatever?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Boy, A1 Pictures doing that. They throwing that money on that shit.
I'm
Boy.
retired from Fate. I think it's official.
Oh no!
I'm
It's just
retired.
getting good.
I
just-
don't care. Like I
It's
love
just getting
I love
good.
what I know, but I don't want to know more. You ever get that feeling with something
Mm.
where you know a lot about something, like a lot about something, more than you care to know,
Mhm.
but you feel like you're already at terminal velocity.
Oh yeah, that's called Metal Gear, my guy.
Actually, you know what's funny? I could do with more Metal Gear. I'd rather get more
Really?
Metal Gear than more Fate.
Did you finish Phantom Pain?
No, I didn't actually. Maybe
Okay,
my
cool.
opinion will change. But no,
That'll-
I like
Do you
it.
remember how you feel about Big Boss after playing MGS3? Remember
Yes.
Snake Eater?
Mhm.
Remember how you felt about him?
Yeah.
Remember how you were like, and then you play MGS4 and you're like,
Well,
okay,
I do
I'm ready
know.
to die.
I do know that as far as from what I've heard, spoiler free for everybody else, the Phantom Bane kind of takes the wind out of your sails in terms of appreciating Big Boss.
It's like you know that he's done bad stuff, right?
Mhm.
But it's like he's still a hero, though. It's like it kind of
That's
makes
up
I'll
to
put you
perception.
like well, yeah, no, you live long enough to see yourself become the blah 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 blah. But I'll put it to you like this: my first impression of Big Boss, and this goes way back to when I was a little babby Justin, is like I remember talking to Sniper Wolf in Metal Gear Solid 1, and she was like, "Oh, Saladin, yeah." He's my hero. He's like the Kurdish hero who retook Jerusalem during the Crusade. Blah blah blah. Salad. He's so great. Big boss. Super girl. Boss. Big Boss fan club. I'm like,
Yeah, you know,
wow,
you-
bro. I'm like, wow, Saladin. Yeah, do it.
To
Yeah,
put
Big
it in a
Boss.
way that I don't actually explicitly state what happens at the end of Phantom Pain and during the events of Phantom Pain, Justin, sometimes you just have to wag the dog hard enough that everyone starts buying your bullshit.
Maybe.
And
Maybe.
you know what? That doesn't let me down at all. If
Maybe,
anything,
but-
it only furthers the legend.
Let the legend come back to shit upon that
It
legend.
only furthers the legend. But
Smear
no,
the
the
legend with doo-doo.
the Fate lexicon, despite how interesting parts of it to me are, I cannot handle the entire thing. I just cannot.
I'll. You know what's funny?
It's too girthy for me.
It's thick and veiny, right? You know what's funny? I recently my girlfriend, and she loves the stuff, and she's only into the main timeline so far. So I'm like, well, we'll see how this goes. But like, I got her to watch Monica, and she loves that shit. So we'll see.
All right.
But you know, it's funny because I'm giving her like the barest minimum about what's going on with Faith, and now she's just trying to kind of expound upon the vagaries of the Throne of Heroes
Yeah,
and
well-
the Fate universe and Ashaya and all that. And I told her, hold on to the things that you like and focus on that, and remember that too is part of this whole convoluted mess.
Yeah.
And then we started watching Fate Extra Lost Encore, and she's like, what? And I'm like, that's not Artorias, that's Nero. And
Yeah.
and
Yep.
she's like, and it's like, oh boy, here we
Ah,
go.
the Arthur likes.
Yeah, here we go. This is where it's at. This is where it starts happening, right? We're
Actually, that
like,
just
this is
gave
where
me
we're
a
truly
great idea
tested.
for a tweet. I'm gonna tweet out a picture of Nero and just say, "I'm gonna tell my kids this is Arthur."
I love those.
That's a good
I love
one.
those
That's
so much. I
actually
love those
good.
so
I
much.
I don't care for them. They're whatever. Like it's a joke. Like it's
But
funny
you know what?
sometimes. But that's
But the point I'm trying
actually
to get
funny
at,
to me.
it is funny, and it's kind of true. But the point I'm trying to get at is that for me, I guess personally speaking, as a fan, like as an unlimited blade dork, as the anime man calls us, right, is that my interest in Fate was the same thing that got me interested in Harry Potter in the earlys. In I'm more interested in the world and the setting and the rules, right? And seeing how those rules apply to everything else, right? Especially when your fictional setting incorporates the real world. So like I remember like my favorite Harry Potter book is still book 4. I loved Goblet of Fire because to me Goblet of Fire kind of opened up the wizarding world into this thing that includes every aspect of our general world. Before it was just, oh, here's the secret life that we live. You gotta walk through the pillar to get on to platform 9 3/4, get to the secret wizard. But then book 4 comes on and it's like, yeah, we got schools up in France, we got schools up in Germany. That shit is wild. They
We
come
have
in
this
on
one American
flying
school we're
boats.
never gonna talk about ever
We
again.
got this one American school you ain't gonna hear about for a long time. And it's like, oh, the world gets big. And then you have the Quidditch World Cup. I'm like, oh, the world is big, right? And it's
Yep.
cool. And then they leave that alone and they go right back. He's like, so
Yep.
anyway, back to England.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Yep. Now,
you know, I mean, I love Harry Potter, but like to the comparison that I'm drawing to Fate, I like that. I like that when a Grail War goes down, it's like, okay, these are the parties that are involved. But on the outside of that, you have the Mages Association. You have the church dealing with stuff. You have these little splinter groups that have to deal with all of these things. You have like, even in Fate Zero, when they're like, oh, Kiritsugu's dad was accidentally turning people into zombies. And it's like, well, we had to send accidentally wink wink, right? He's like, oh look, I work on flowers, I make this flower bloom forever. Meanwhile, right, you got bitches out here slaying chickens, right, for meat and shit and killing people, and we have vampires. Like, oops, I accidentally a vampire, right? And they had to call in fucking finishers. Then that the whole thing is like, it leads you into this world where like there's this underbelly that operates within the realm of our regular society and has to adhere to these rules to a certain extent to maintain the status quo to a certain extent, which is why honestly, like when people ask me what one of my favorite Fate series is, like besides Zero, it's tied with El Malloy Case Files. I love El Malloy Case Files, if only because it's kind of a direct sequel to Fate Zero.
yeah.
But more than that, it really sits you down and says, okay, outside of Grail Wars, here's what magic is about. No, for real. And it's like, oh, okay. And there's like a really interesting case early in LMLA case, like, yo, Waver, we need you to go and investigate this murder that happened at this mage's house. And then from the minute he pulls up to the gate, he's already examining everything about the layout of this house, regular mundane things that mean something to mages. And it just kind of threw me back to Harry Potter because like he's looking at the building of the house and the house has like a dome in the middle and it has an oculus, and he's like, okay, so this house is a microcosm of the universe, right? And there's the world here. So wherever that dome is supposed to be the earth, and that's the center. And then he goes into the main hall and he's like, oh, this guy was found dismembered. We found this mage's body parts at certain parts of the house. He's like, okay, so they're, yeah. Basically, long story short, he realizes that, okay, this guy had a very elaborate suicide, right? And he used it to kind of give himself this kind of false immortality so that he could continue doing his magical research to find the root. Because guess what? Regardless of whether a Grail War is going on, mages are still trying to find true magic. Because everything else is just magecraft. And I think that they really do a really good job of explaining like the difference between the true magic and magecraft. Because true magic doesn't have to follow rules. Magecraft has a lot of rules that you have to go through. It's basically the difference between performing alchemy with and without a philosopher's stone, right? And I like that El Malloy Case Files kind of explores like the kind of nitty gritty of the wizarding world. And it's really cool. And it's clean, man. The show is clean. It's sharp. And the best moments are not even the action parts, but the animation is stellar.
You know what's
And yes,
fundamentally
and yes, there
interesting about
is a
that?
saber lookalike in that too, which is hilarious. And what's really funny about that is that I'm just the last thing I'm gonna say. It's just like there's a saber lookalike, right? And that's Waver's personal assistant. He makes her wear a hood and like cover up her features because he's like, if I see you and you out here looking like Saber, it's gonna remind me of the Grail War, and I saw that a bitch cut people down with no remorse, and I ain't trying to see that shit because I have PTSD from Grail War 4, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Street Fighter 3, yeah. All right, cool. You know, I don't know. I like El Malloy Case Files, is what I'm saying.
But yeah, no. Fundamentally, to bridge this to other things, my two favorite Fate-related properties are El Malloy Case Files and Zero, and for the same reasons as you. However, I feel like enough for my taste. I feel like no other piece of Fate media goes into the parts of Fate lore that I appreciate.
Maybe if you play FGO, you talk to Da Vinci Code, and she will.
Nope, not gonna do that. Nope.
Level up your.
Nope. You couldn't pay me enough.
Your Fate.
Nope.
Gotcha your servers.
Nope.
Okay, no. Okay.
Nope. But no, it's the same reason to bring it back. Why I like One Piece. Why I like Cannon Buster. Why I like Saint Seiya. I'm interested in the world surrounding these events, and some of these properties do that very well. One Piece does that very, very well.
One Piece is all exposition.
One Piece is entirely, like, you could write an entire comic book about the things that happened around Luffy, and it would be just as long, if not longer, than One Piece. And One Piece is long.
Skypiea, how does it work?
Yeah, no, I would read it. I'd read it.
Yeah,
I care.
What?
It's the same thing with Harry Potter as well. But, yeah, no. That's been me as far as watching things. I have only been playing one game.
And what is that?
You know. That one game is Pokemon.
I have been waiting for this. Please tell me. Please tell me this
because I told you about it.
Yes, you did.
But yeah, no, I've been playing Pokemon Sword. It's good.
Question: why Sword over Shield?
Happenstance. I didn't actually really go, oh, well, I'm going to pick this one over the other one. I was just like, whatever, I'll just buy Sword. Because I want Wide Dog. I don't want Sword Dog. I got Sword. I think I made my decision at, like, the drop of a hat. I was like, wait, what's in this one? Okay, I'm getting that. As opposed to remembering, wait, no, I want the Wide Dog. So now I guess I'm stuck with Sword Dog. Whatever. It's fine. I'm not using any of them anyway. The thing that I like about Sword is that it put the fear of death back into me.
Oh, do tell.
So one of the things that people were very quick to bring to the chopping block that I actually enjoy this feature is one of the new things that they have you do is you can't catch Pokemon of a certain level until you get a certain gym badge. Like, Pokeballs just won't work.
Norms. Okay.
Well, no, not normal at all.
No, because they don't listen to you if you don't have the.
No. I mean wild Pokemon.
Oh, really?
I mean in the sense of you can walk over to a level 40 Pokemon and not just be able to catch it at all.
Really?
Yep. Until you get a badge that says you can catch level 40 Pokemon. Yeah. And you want to know why I like that? Because it makes Pokemon scary.
Okay. So Poke-Souls now. Let's go.
It brings you a fear of, oh god, that Snorlax knows I'm here. Oh god, he's running towards me. There's this one video I saw of a person being chased by a Curlia. And I don't know if you've played Pokemon Sun or Pokemon Moon.
I have.
But you know that thing that you can do where you waggle the stick around and you do a pirouette?
Yeah.
If you do that to a Curlia, they will pirouette back at you and then walk away.
Oh, that's great. Oh, okay.
But it's little things like that, right? That's what makes Pokemon Sword interesting, is that it's less of your traditional Pokemon game, and they've focused more on what a world would be like that just happens to have Pokemon in it.
Oh, you mean the thing that we've been imagining in our heads since Red and Blue?
Yes, it's closer to that. And I enjoy it more because of it. Where it's not even like what a world would be like if you had Pokemon in it. It's more of, hey, you know how in the anime people just don't catch everything that moves? Because Pokemon are scary?
Yes.
Pokemon are scary.
And this makes Pokemon scary again, is what you're saying.
That sure is a Dusknoir walking around in the open.
I mean, ghost Pokemon are by default supposed to be scary.
Oh yeah, no,
except
absolutely.
for Drifblim. Then again, though, that is a balloon that literally snatches up your children.
Yes.
So,
that reminds me of a piece of media that I think was photoshopped, but I saw it said when somebody decided to interact with a Drifbloon, the Drifbloon was given the text, "This Drifbloon seems to be trying to figure out how much you weigh." But yeah, no. The thing that makes traveling around the world interesting, specifically in the wild areas, is that that's just how you catch Pokemon. You just walk around, and Pokemon are just walking around. They're just out there, and they have aggro ranges. And
oh boy,
Liepirds move really fast.
Oh boy.
So if a Liepird sees you and you're not on your bike, you better get on your bike because you're not making it out of there alive.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
That seems really cool, man. Have you how many badges do you have so far?
I beat the game this morning.
Ooh, okay. So what's endgame like?
Are you sure you want to know?
Yeah, it's okay. It's Pokemon.
Okay, well, spoilers to people who don't want to know. This will probably go until the closing, so I'm sorry. Yeah, no, so...
Just turn it off. It's good. Just turn it off. That's podcast done. Let's go. Give me the Pokemons.
Okay. Yeah, so the ending of the game is pretty interesting because they don't do an Elite Four system.
What do you mean?
They do a boss rush. So what it is the way that the system works in the Galar region is every gym leader is essentially a different, I'll just say it as an equipe.
What, is a team of what?
Well, as people who, think of it as a symposium for specifically that type of Pokemon.
Okay.
So you have like the Fairy Symposium, where like only Fairy type trainers like do shit here. And if you
we are the sharks. We are the sharks.
That's exactly what it is.
We only use Sharpedo.
Yes, it's that, except not like Team Aqua. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Where it's like we'll use every fairy Pokemon, but like we're only using fairy Pokemon because we're furthering the idea of what fairy Pokemon can do, because we feel like fairy Pokemon are underrepresented and things like that. Or like, oh well, I'm a farmer who just happens to have the grass gym, and I'm really bad at going all out on newbies, so I'm usually the first gym that people go to, and things like that. The thing that I like about, so you've probably seen a lot of pictures of Raihan, who is the dragon trainer, who's like literally the last gym you go to. He doesn't fundamentally really use dragon Pokemon. He just has some dragon Pokemon. He uses a Torkoal. Torkoals aren't dragons.
So he just got saddled with this dragon gym?
No. He actually uses strategy.
Okay.
He's basically the guy who goes, hey, remember weather?
Oh, man. Time to bust out the cast form, bro.
Yeah, no, he's like in love with sandstorm and drought and rainy day and shit like that. Which is funny because I go, welcome to the hailstorm, motherfucker.
Ooh, nice.
And I go, oh, you forgot about this one, huh? Well, it's gonna ruin you. But yeah, no, I changed my my kayfabe twice during the course of my initial playthrough, and now that I'm in post game, I'm going to change my kayfabe again.
Okay.
So originally, I was going to have a dark team. That was my kayfabe. I was going to be, I'm the kid who's like doesn't talk, who has the dark Pokemon.
Ellipses Bisharp.
Yeah. Well, I actually didn't use Bisharp. See, I thought Corviknight was going to be a dark type. It turned out to be a steel flying.
Steel's good, man.
It's
Don't
good,
sleep on
but
steel.
I wanted it to be dark steel with levitate,
Makes sense.
because that would be cool. I used Scrafty. I used
Crocodile?
no, I didn't get Crocodile yet at that point. I don't even know if Crocodile's in the game.
Yeah, that incomplete Pokedex shit kind of makes me a little bit
It doesn't bother me at all, if only because like there may be like 3 games in all 8 generations that actually have every single Pokemon in them.
Okay.
Like,
but why not all?
Because they made room for all this other slice of life shit that I appreciate.
I suppose, but
Look,
it's a Pokemon
whatever.
game.
It's whatever. Ruby didn't even have all of the Pokemon in it.
I feel you.
I'm pretty sure that there are more, like, that just don't have all the Pokemon in it. It's whatever. Like, I like what's in there, and I'm okay with that. Unfortunately, there's no, the reason why that's a big deal is that I can't port things into it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the thing that I'm like, that's a little saddening, but whatever. There's enough Pokemon in this game that I can live with that. Just things to remedy for the next go around, I suppose. But yeah, no, I was using. Of course, I couldn't have a team without my son, Drapion. Who else was on my team? And then I was putting the Fairy Dark type Pokemon on my team when I was like, you know what? I'm really not feeling this. It kind of just feels not fun. So, at the 5th gym, I decided to completely tear apart my team and restructure a bunch of bug Pokemon from level 10 to level 45.
What is it with you and these bug types, bro?
They're good.
Yes.
So
I'm salty because I like psychics. So
I ended up there's a psychic type trainer in the game who you'd probably really like. But the team that I ended up beating the game with was a fire bug type, a water bug type, I still had Drapion on the team because goddammit, he's a bug. Shut up. He's a poison dark type.
yes, Drapion for life. I mean,
he's a bug.
Yeah.
He's literally a scorpion.
But why not Gligar? That's a scorpion. I mean,
so is Drapion. Why not Drapion?
Why not Drapion? Can't argue with that.
The new ice bug type.
I think you showed me a picture of that guy.
Yeah. Galvantula. Yeah. And a psychic bug type, which is the one I think I showed you the picture of. And let me tell you, that psychic one's really good. It's really good. It outclasses everything else that's on my team. It's actually kind of scary.
Love me my psychics. I love me my steels, bro.
Which is actually really funny because it's a special type, like, Pokemon, obviously, because that's a psychic. But I still have U-turn on it.
Why?
Because it's really funny. So it has Swarm, right? So it ups bug moves once you're in critical. I have the Silver Powder on it, which ups bug moves even more. It has Stab, right? So it's already got like 3 times extra damage than what it would normally be, right? On U-turn. So the setup that I do for this is, is Psychic super effective on it? Then I don't worry about using U-turn literally ever. It's just a 3rd slot that I don't use. The other slots that I use are Magic Coat and Reflect, because that's what it's for. I'm going to up my defense so high that you can't possibly touch this Pokemon. Oh, you used a rock or fire move? I'm still alive. U-turn. Get out of here.
So you basically I mean, at that point, just put a chance.
Put a what?
Put a Chansey or a Blissey on your team. Well, then again, it's not a special wall, is it?
But Chansey isn't a bug.
Has to be a bug.
It has to be a monotype team. That's what I was doing.
Okay, well, I mean,
but yeah, no.
Kudos to you for keeping to theme.
I did, and I beat Leon with that team.
Who's Leon? Is that the dragon guy?
The champion.
No, champion Leon. Okay, sorry.
Anyway, so even with all those things on it, and having like double digits as opposed to triple digits in the attack stat, I still take a third off. It's nuts. it shouldn't work, but it does, and it keeps the reflect and the light screen and the magic coat on when I can switch to something that will do better damage, right? So it's basically a means of egress that allows me to deal extra damage, as opposed to going, oh, this situation's bad, let me switch out and take a hit. It
Makes
becomes,
sense.
no, I'm not going to take the hit, you're going to take the hit, and I'm going to switch out. But yeah, no, I've gotten to the point where I think I've done everything I can with the bug team. It's no longer at a point where I feel like I'm having fun with it, because it's essentially, okay, well, I'll start with the Galvantula and put out Sticky Web, and then I'll switch to whatever's super effective. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to make a poison team. Which is still going to have Drapion on it, but that's not the point.
You just never let go of this. You know what? Everybody has their thing, man.
Yeah.
Everybody has.
Well,
I love Psyduck,
it's
but
very
he's not really
useful.
viable.
I don't know why I find Drapion so useful, but I do. Especially with Black Sludge on it. Because it's real fun. It's just really fun to have a Pokemon that can crit everything. Normally gets crits because of its ability. Has moves that are going to crit because they're things like Night Slash, X Scissor, and Cross Poison. And on top of which, because of the happiness mechanics, is probably going to crit even more. So
Tell me about the bullshit that you have to do to make your Pokemons love. What is that about? Do you have to?
It's the same as in every game, and also in
Parfait, rub.
Yeah, you do that stuff, and then you can also make them curry. But
no more macaroons.
But you do the curry anyway, because when you're out in the world, like on routes and in the wild areas and stuff, and you don't want to go to a Pokemon Center because you don't want to go all the way back and then travel all the way back to where you were, you set up a camp. And you play with your Pokemon, and you make curry, and that heals Pokemon from death. It gives them experience, so you have no reason not to do it. Like, it's literally, it's almost shoving down your throat the idea of Pokemon as a camping experience, as opposed to Pokemon as an RPG. Where it's, you have to walk around with your Pokemon, and hang out with your Pokemon, and feed your Pokemon, and do all these things in addition to battling, as opposed to press left and right until a battle starts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It turns aspects of Pokemon into Metal Gear.
So I have a question for you then. So
Sure.
if all the Pokemon now appear on the overworld as actual like mini avatars,
Yes
right?
and no. There are
Okay,
Pokemon
so-
on the overworld. There are also Pokemon in the grass. Certain Pokemon only appear in grass. Certain Pokemon only appear in the overworld.
Okay, so there's still the walk into a bush, not see anything, and suddenly
And then
nibble on
run
my ankle.
towards the part of the grass that you saw was rustling.
Okay, so that's still a thing.
Yes.
Okay,
And
cool.
that's it. Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
That is the game.
But you've enjoyed it. So tell me about the post game then, since you beat it.
I mean, I'm not there yet. I literally beat it this morning, and I went, well, time to get all the Pokemon together for that poison team. Which is going to be an electric poison type, the Drapion. I'm probably going to find a Salazzle. I'll figure it out, essentially. Toxapex might go on that team. But it'll be structurally more interesting because those Pokemon are so radically different from each other, as opposed to bug types, which are all kind of, alright, speed up in there and just do your damage and leave. Because that's all bugs.
So I have a question for you. So in your experience in going through the game as it is so far, the main game, right? What would you say is something that they've changed that really improved the Pokemon games, and what would you say is something that still leaves room for improvement? What has left you wanting, and what are you very satisfied with that you'd like to see going forward?
I'm very satisfied with camping. I would love to see camping and wild areas show up in more Pokemon games.
All right.
Jury's still out on the raid system, which is Dynamaxing.
I've heard some stuff about the raids, particularly about raids with Clefable and spamming minimize.
I've heard things about raids with Clefable spamming follow me and having an expert belt. I mean, the thing that brings you down to 1 HP.
Yeah.
So that way you're the enemy can't hit anybody else. They can only hit you. Which is super good because the way that those raids work is if you die a certain amount of times, you just auto lose. So there's that. Things that I would like to keep. I know that they're not going to do this, but I do like the gym leader system, which is just going around, and then the Elite Four, instead of being 4 new trainers, is just, hey, we're having a tournament because there needs to be somebody from the electorate of the challengers and the gym leaders to fight the champion. So, like, even the gym leaders are like, no, I want to be champion.
Oh.
Which is fun and interesting and new. And I appreciate that more as opposed to 4 people who are just like, yeah, no, we're just the fight before the champion. Because that's not interesting to me, and it never was. Because I'm like, who are these Elite Four people, and why do I never see them anywhere except this building?
Right.
That's what made the Elite Four fun in Sun and Moon, was because it was a brand new thing, and it was, oh, well, we don't know what the Elite Four is, but I guess we're the Elite Four now, so that's just what we do.
I mean, in Sun and Moon, the Elite Four were a brand new thing.
Yes, so that's what made it fun. But the thing that makes,
like, how can we do it different?
The thing that makes the Final Four fights fun in this is that it's actually a tournament.
Yeah.
And, like, you know that there are people who you fought that are in the tournament who you're just not going to fight. You're just not going to be able to fight them. Like, I think one of the gym leaders is like, oh no, I got Raihan in the first round. And they're just like, shit. Seeded out early. But yeah, no, that's the game. Really, it feels more like real life than any other Pokemon game preceding it, and I feel like that, like, if anything, that's more what Game Freak has been trying to go for from every game since Pokemon Red and Blue. Sun and Moon was getting closer to that feel from X and Y. X and Y was getting closer to that feel from Black and White 2. Sword and Shield definitely feels like it's going more towards that, and I feel like Game Freak is just going to keep making more and more changes to make Pokemon feel more like an experience of walking around with animals rather than the RPG experience that would feel more like Devil Summoner. If that makes any sense. Because Devil Summoner feels more like what Pokemon used to be.
You know what's really funny about the whole Persona, the Shin Megami Tensei Pokemon like comparison is that I've always felt that like Shin Megami Tensei was always a better Pokemon system, at least from the aspect of how you manage your battling creatures.
Yes,
right?
Because that's what it's for.
Yeah, and that's really what SMT's really about, you know? Yeah. I mean, like...
Which is actually what I would say to people at the end of the day, where it's like, hey, are you, for some reason, disappointed with the idea of Pokemon Sword? Play Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
Play Devil Summoner specifically. Play Raida Kuzunoha.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Play those games. Because that's exactly what that is. It's just finding good strategy and learning how to mix and match in ways that make sense. Whereas Pokemon,
what if your Pokemons were tied to the devil?
I mean,
how fun is that?
Technically, in Shin Megami Tensei, Dante and Bayonetta are canon.
Oh my god, you're right.
But yes,
I forgot that.
So
I actually forgot that.
Things that I don't want to see that are in Sun and Moon. I mean, in X, Sun and Moon, X and Y, Sword and Shield. Things that are in Sword and Shield that I don't want to see again in Pokemon. I'd prefer, like, the experience isn't hand-holdy, which is nice, but I still feel like I'm on rails.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where I feel like, granted, there is a procedure to events, but I don't feel like I'm allowed to just say, heck off, and that there's enough other things for me to do. You know what I mean? Because,
yeah, definitely.
like, especially in the situation where I go, you know what, I'm flushing this team and starting up a new team, right? I feel like I'm only grinding the team, and that the game is kind of waiting for me, looking at its wristwatch and tapping on it and going, when are you gonna come to this gym? And I'm like, yes, I'm aware that the game has stopped while I'm doing this. Just give me a second. I wish there were
but
at
that
least...
should be okay.
I mean, yes, it is okay. I'm glad that they're giving me the time to do it, as opposed to, no, you're sticking with this team and you're going to like it. But I kind of wish that there were other things in the world to go around and do. Now, what they do have is something called jobs, where you can send your Pokemon and Pokemon in your boxes to go do other things and gain experience while they're not currently in your party, and come back with items and stuff.
That's kind of like Assassin's Creed in a little way, where you sometimes you could just send other dudes.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, you know, we need to send somebody to Idaho because they've run out of potatoes.
Yep.
Like,
but you need to spend specific people and specific Pokemon in that sense
that are best suited to the job, of course. Yeah.
And that's okay. But I kind of wish there was, like, do you remember the Trick House in Ruby and Sapphire, where there was this random guy who would just have essentially gym layouts in his house, and you would just go and find him, and he would give you certain items for finding him. He's a very interesting character that only shows up in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, and I don't remember if he's even in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But his I would say gym, because he's not a gym leader, but his gyms were fun.
That's
and every
interesting.
time you would come
is it like a procedurally generated thing where it's different every time, or
it's
is it
different every time? But like they're laid out where it's like, okay, this one's going to be the one that involves the rocks, and this one the next time it's going to be this one, and then after a while he just stops having them, and you can just go back and do whichever ones you wanted.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But it's fun, right? Like, it gives you something to do, right?
Right. Outside of the regular gym grind.
Yeah, as opposed to going, all right, I need to level up these Pokemon. Guess I'm just going to go do raids. Or guess I'm going to go run around in this particular patch of grass for 45 minutes. Because that feels like it feels like it's bad. It's not fun. And you should be able to have the versatility to go back and kind of just, you know what, I missed a few things. There's also some Pokemon that I want to raise, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. Granted, there's a certain level of tedium to that is actually fun, right? Of, oh, well, I'm going to go train up against these Pokemon. I call it mowing the lawn.
Okay.
I'm gonna mow the lawn over on Route 6, and then I'm gonna go mow the lawn over on Route 10, and then I'm gonna go over here, and then I'm gonna go over there, and that does make it different. And I do that specifically because there are Pokemon in different areas with different levels that I want them to train against, and it actually makes the areas more interesting, because there are certain items that you find in certain places, and I know that I don't find every item every time on the first time. So that makes it fun to explore these areas, which is fundamentally what I play Pokemon for. I play it to explore first and to do Pokemon battle second.
Tell me about the is there like a dynamic weather or system?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah?
Yep. All the wild areas have different weather at different times, and you can find different Pokemon during different weather patterns. Which is kind of annoying, because certain Pokemon only show up in certain weather conditions. But there is more often than not at least one place in the game where every Pokemon shows up at all weathers. So it's like, oh, well, this Pokemon only shows up in these locations during thunderstorms, but they also appear in this location all the time, no matter what weather, in the grass, at this specific percentage. Like, no matter what.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's still, like, trade incentives
that's dependable.
And things like that, but for the most part, it makes it easier, as opposed to having to Speaking of things that are made easier that aren't actually made easy, and I'm kind of looking forward to this, and everyone is no one's gonna think I'm gonna have no credibility after this. I actually really like all the dumb evolve mechanics in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of this.
No, please explain.
Give me 1 second to look it up. But basically, there are a bunch of weird evolution prerequisites for certain Pokemon in Sword and Shield.
Okay.
From Yamask to Farfetch'd to, you know that thing of cream?
The thing of cream?
The Alchemy?
Oh, wait, yes. What about that?
So you want to know how you evolve Alchemy? You spin around in place while it holds an item.
Oh my god, so you're making meringue.
Yes.
You have to whisk it.
Yep.
That's so dumb. I love it. It's so dumb. Oh my god, whisk your Pokemons to make him stronger.
Yep. You need to walk under a specific stone sculpture while holding a damaged Yamask in order to get its new evolution.
A specific stone sculpture?
Mm-hmm.
What, it has to be inspired by art?
Yep.
Okay. That's interesting.
You need to there's a new fighting type octopus called Clobopus that evolves into Graplocked. And it needs to know Taunt when you evolve it.
Wait, what? That's quite specific.
It needs to be able to do cross counter, basically. There is a Pokemon that evolves into different Pokemon based on what nature it is.
Okay.
There is a Pokemon that only evolves when you give it a tart apple.
Specifically a tart one,
Yep.
not a sweet one. Not okay.
Not a sweet one. There is a Pokemon called Poltegeist.
I know about Poltegeist.
You need to coax it with a specific China set in order to get Sinistea.
I heard that Poltegeist comes in authentic and non-authentic versions.
It comes in more than just authentic and non-authentic.
Yeah, I heard that there are many forgeries in circulation. I think that's what the Pokédex entry is. Yeah. And it's like they got bootleg Pokemons out here.
Yep.
And not like regular hacked mons. Like literally it's like this Poltegeist has haunted a Chinese knockoff of this tea set.
I don't know how much you know about the history of England and how bad it is at paleontology.
No. Wait, wait. You mean like how they used to fudge their fucking fossils?
Like how they just used to we'll just put a bunch of things together.
And hopefully this is a T-Rex.
Yep.
Yeah. What do they do something like that?
Yes, you can. Instead of getting one fossil, you just get two fossils and put them together.
Oh my god! And you put them
Pokemon.
together. And you put together some kind of a bomb and.
Yes, you do, and they're all great.
Wait, are you for real?
They're all great.
Wait, for real?
There's a water ice one, an electric ice one, a water dragon one, and an electric dragon one.
Wait, hold on, wait. If you are essentially making up fossilized Pokemon, then how is there a Pokedex entry for it?
That's the thing that people really like about Sword and Shield recently is that it pretty much cements the fact that it's kind of like a sensationalist encyclopedia. It's unreliable and shouldn't be taken as reliable.
Oh, so I don't have to think about the Veltios landing on people's heads being a hat?
No. Don't. Don't think about the 400-pound hat.
Hundreds die as Veltios gently nestle upon the heads of children.
In order for Farfetch'd to evolve into Surfetch'd, it needs to get 3 critical hits in a single battle.
So it needs to feel good about itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I always thought that Farfetch'd had a lot of confidence already.
There is a Pokemon called Toxel that only evolves into specific forms based on what its nature is.
So does Galarian Weezing only come about when it improves its credit score or something?
No, I think that one just evolves as normal.
He's like, well, as you know, I'm pushing 800, so top hats for days.
I'm scared of my credit score. Anyway, I think that's a good place to call it.
Yeah, this shit sounds cool, man. I definitely think I should pick that up.
Yeah,
I think
no,
I'm back
it's
in.
fun. Like one of these days, I'll definitely walk through it with you because I feel like this
I
Pokemon more than any other is meant to be
I think
played with others.
it's funny. I say back in, but I think the only Pokemon game that I actually haven't picked up
You
would be
never
X and Y
left.
2. I really never left.
You never left.
I never left. I
Anyway,
think it was only X and Y 2 I didn't get.
just a couple of channel things before we sign off.
Sure.
As soon as I figure out why I can't find the loading music. Anyway, so there is going to be Blood Price this weekend for sure. I do not believe that there is anything scheduled for Saturday, but there will be a Blood Price session, and it will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A bunch of stuff's gonna go down. I'm not sure what.
Do tell.
I'm scared. You should be too.
I am shaking in my boots, my guy, and I'm not even in the campaign.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so that's that. Thanks for stopping by. This will be uploaded to the YouTube at some point between now and tomorrow. And that being said, I want to wish everybody a good night. As soon as I find the music, because I will find the music.
Likewise.
Here's the music.
Yo, this has been the Pokecast.
All right.
Oh, man.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.